Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and it's Deb C, and the place to be, it's Deb C. Bloop, bloop, that's me. Boop, Deb C. Boop, Deb C. Hey guys, happy Saturday, and as you can see, I did not partake in doing anything with my face. That is wrong, because I did. When I went out this morning, my hair looked nice, and I had makeup on. I still do have some makeup on, and I was feeling fancy, and I was feeling nice and good. And then I came home after running around, and that's a whole other rant. Maybe for another time, maybe another universe. And, but it did also involve, the rant. I won't get into it, but it does involve Walmart fucking up a pickup order. So there we go. And I did a bunch of work around the house, and I was sweating, so I put this headband on. And so this is what we get. You don't come to my channel for beauty and fashion. So we are going to talk about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I did watch it on Thursday, and then I made more notes today. So let's talk about it. It is season 15. It's episode 11. In hindsight, I'm going to say this was a good episode because Jennifer Tilly is back, and there was no Amanda Francis. Hooray! I'm drinking some water because during the day, to start off the day, I had my iced coffee. And then I wanted to treat myself, so I got an iced, why am I saying an iced? Of course it would be iced. I got myself a Diet Dr. Pepper at Wendy's, along with some nuggies. And so I'm just drinking my water now, so cheers. Okay, so the ladies are still some of the ladies are still in the Hamptons. Dorit FaceTimes the kids, and everything seems to be going well with co-parenting. It's all like, she says it's all like smiles and everything when she's talking to PK in front of the kids, and she does that. Like, the kids don't know any of the shit that any of the terrible shit that he's done to her. She saves that, like, for the good of the kids and for the good of, like, this whole co-parenting thing. She doesn't say anything bad about him in front of the kids. Okay, so Dorit, Rachel, and Kyle, they go shopping. Dorit, listen, this whole montage of Dorit's like, listen, since I am single, I am very responsible, and I'm not impulsive with my shopping. And maybe I might treat myself a little bit sometimes, but I'm very responsible. And then she goes on to spend $4,589.50. Yeah, that card doesn't go through. And I'm like, oh. And then she gives a second card. That one goes through. And she says that it's fraud. Like, the reason why the first one didn't go through is because it was like the card didn't go through because of like a fraud alert. Because typically, and I get this, like, she would typically be spending this money on the West Coast, and now she's all the way across the country on another coast. So I get that. But before she leaves to go to the other store to meet up with the other ladies, she sees another outfit, which takes her total to $4,915. In my mind, I went back to one of the things that she said earlier when she said that PK doesn't tell her anything about, like, the finances. So she doesn't know if there's $0 in there or if there's $100 in there or $1 million. She doesn't know. She does say that she's been hustling a lot. I would think that if you're hustling to make money, that you would use that for around the house or the kids, or like you would put it away in case something were bad were to happen, you know, there was some kind of financial insecurity that would come about. Rachel does tell Kyle that Dorit bought like half the store. So we'll hear her talking about this a little bit later. Back home, so the Lays still in the Hamptons, the Lays get back home. Kyle calls, FaceTimes Portia, and then gets a call from Bose. And I was like, oh, well, this is a change, because last year those two really hadn't gotten along. They just weren't a good fit for each other as friends. Kyle said that she's very happy that Bose is like making an effort to get to know her outside of Dorit, and the two seem to get along well, which I like. I enjoy seeing that. Kyle brings up the fact that Dorit was late getting to the airport, and then she showed up. She didn't have her passport. She didn't have her real ID, and she seems to be kind of like scattered, kind of like flitting from here to there and not really grounded. And she's wondering if maybe is like anxiety kicking in, like whenever she had first separated from Mo. But she's certainly not going to say, she's not going to say anything to Dorit about it. Like Dorit had said something to her about it when it was happening with her, but she's certainly not going to say anything. Everything is good right now between the two of them. She's not going to say anything. Bose does say in the confessional that, you know, Kyle was talking about how Dorit should really watch how she talks about PK, in case that's something that that can then be brought up against her in court, like during the divorce proceedings. But same thing, Kyle. She's like, maybe Kyle should take her own advice and not say anything, because she's saying, what if PK hears what Kyle is saying about Dorit and then uses it against Dorit in the divorce proceedings, you know, in trial. Not trial. Is it a trial? It's not, no, you're not on trial. What am I saying in trial? During the divorce proceedings. We're going to say proceedings because there's no divorce trial. I just made up a new divorce trial, like a divorce jury. Okay, and Kyle also tells Bose about Dorit's spending. And Bose says that maybe that's not the best thing for her to be doing, you know, considering she doesn't know exactly like what's coming up for her financially. Maybe it's not the best thing to do. Okay, Sutton and Jennifer Tilly. Jennifer Tilly is back, and I love Jennifer Tilly. She's back. They have lunch, and I have written here, yay, Tilly. Jennifer Tilly's outfit, first of all, the color blue, I love it. But the just like the way her hair looked like it was soft. It looked like kind of like old Hollywood. She had a light makeup on, like a soft makeup on, and that beautiful blue. And then I don't know if anybody saw it, but that little cat that was sitting there, I'm thinking that was maybe a purse. I have written down, Tilly's outfit is pure happiness. Pure happiness. Like, I loved it. I love Jennifer Tilly. And we found out that, listen, life is rarely as perfect as it seems on the outside, because she said, like, you know, when Sutton was married, she was this like well put together. She was this chic woman that was very well put together. She's not well put together now, but, and her and Christian just seemed like the perfect couple. Well, that came crashing down. And we found out who Christian is dating, because Jennifer referred to this other woman as a hoochie mama. And Sutton was like, well, she's really not a hoochie mama. She's just a mother. And as it turns out, Christian is dating like one of Sutton's, well, ex good friends, but one of Sutton's ex friends. I mean, they really knew each other because they raised their sons together. And the crazy thing was, she didn't even find out from either one of them. She found out from her son. She found out from her son that this was going on. Can you imagine? And Tilly thinks that maybe he wants this annulment because he wants to marry this friend. I'm with Jennifer. She was like, Sutton handled it very well, and she didn't yell or anything. And she's like, I'm very different. I would have seen red. I have to tell you, same. I would have went nuts. Okay. I mean, I would have went crazy. I would have showed my whole ass out on the streets of the 90210. Whole out. So next up, Erica, if I was making shirts, like merchandise, one of the shirts would definitely have that. Whole out. Okay. If merch ever appears and there's a shirt that says whole out, or underwear in the back that says whole out, somebody better order it. Somebody better buy it. Anyways, okay. So Erica and therapy. I like that the therapy does does house calls. That's pretty nice. So Erica, I would do the same thing with the dessert, like the cake. Like she's like, I'm gonna leave this cake here. It's gonna be my reward for doing therapy. So Erica and her therapist, they sit down, they have a chat. First on the docket is her upcoming trial. Now she's being taken to court by the bankruptcy trustees. That's for $25 million. Also, there's a $10 million tax bill that was left to her from Tom. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Now about this bankruptcy trust. She's like, she's like, the worst is happening to me. And her therapist was like, no, the worst happened to Tom. But it didn't happen to you. It didn't happen to you because you're still here. He's not. But I can see where she's coming from, because when you're saddled with this much, a $10 million tax bill, and then $25 million hanging over your head, that's a lot. I can see where she would be like the worst, like it's when it's like when you're like, oh, my life sucks. This is not going the way I wanted to. And then someone says, well, listen, it could be a lot worse. I get it. It could be a lot worse, but it still is like, just let the person feel how they feel. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. But she's just exhausted from all of this. Like, all this time you're thinking Erica's coming out of the dark. She has this new man, and she moved out of that big mansion. She has her own place, and things are looking up for her. And then you hear this, and it's like crushing her. Like, she's smiling. She's pretending everything's okay. And life is great, but it's really taking its toll on her. Like, it's really taking its toll on her. And then she talked about when she met up with Denise, and they were talking about Denise's DV at the hands of her ex-husband, Aaron. And she had mentioned that she had said, the same thing happened to me. And that opened the floodgates. Like, she was saying about how she was carrying like so much shame, but it was even worse for her because like she is the mother of a police officer. And for her to have to call and cop to this, you know, it's even, for her, it was even more shameful. And she basically just like survived by kind of like detaching herself from it, you know, like almost when she spoke to her therapist about it, she almost spoke like it was happening to someone else and it wasn't happening to her. And her therapist was like, the thing that I was worried about was you were carrying so much shame around, but now that you are talking about it, you're getting rid of some of that shame. And this is the first step to like letting go of it. I don't think it's ever gonna leave you. You're always gonna be shaped by that. You're always gonna be touched by that and shaped by it, but it won't be weighing like so heavy on you because Erica was worried, like, did I do the right thing? And she did do the right thing because she's letting go of it. But in her talking about it and saying, hey, it happened to me, that's showing people like, well, if that can happen to her, it can happen to anybody. And she had the courage to come out and say something. So maybe I do too. And I think that's great. Listen, I'm going to tell you, this Erica right here that's genuine, that's talking about her life, that's opening up and that's crying and it seems to be very genuine, I can get behind this Erica. This Erica, I like. I can get behind this Erica. You know, the Erica from a few years back that was lashing out and not like accepting the victims, that one I couldn't get behind. This one, I really can because she's open and she's being honest and, you know, I like that. I like this Erica. This Erica I can get behind, absolutely. This is what I want to see more of. Okay, back at the Hamptons, Rachel's family is coming over for, looks like maybe just like drinks or something. I'm going to tell you, Rachel is her mother's daughter because Rachel was saying that like growing up, you would never see her mother in like jeans and sweatpants and no makeup. Her mother was always like dressed to the nines, hair done, makeup done, jewelry on. So you can see where Rachel gets that from. So everybody's down there. Everybody's talking. And Dorit, listen, they didn't even have to leave to go anywhere. And Dorit is like 20 minutes late. Because she was worried about like is this outfit too, does it have too many fall vibes and then she just comes down in like a black dress and a cardigan or something. But, that was really nice that everybody just was sitting around talking, getting to know each other. And it was tough on Rachel because Rachel's family didn't just look at her ex-husband, Roger, as an in-law. They really looked at him as like a son. So it's hard. The whole thing is hard on her, but it's also weighing heavy on her because of how it affects her family. You know, like how sad her family is, you know? Obviously, her family wouldn't want her to stay with someone who isn't treating her right or that she's not happy with, but it affected them too, and that affects her. Okay, so Leal and Bose go up to San Diego to visit Keely. So the three of them go out. I don't know if it's for dinner or lunch, but they go out to eat, and Bose is very excited to continue her fertility journey, but if she does continue with it and it doesn't work, she may consider stopping it. But Bose is just worried. And this is the what ifs. Like, she has her what if and he has his what if. Her what if is like, what if I can't have a baby? What if I cannot bear Keely's baby? What if it's not going to happen for us? And is he, are you going to stay with me? Are you going to still be there? If I can't. And he reassures her, he loves her, he's not going anywhere, he still wants to marry her. And she's like, I know he's saying that, but still there's a little part of her that's like, is he going to resent me? I mean, is he going to try to have a kid with somebody other than me? Or like, is he going to resent me? Doesn't seem like he is. His what if, though, I thought a little bit about that, and I was like, are you laying groundwork or something? Because his what if was, what if I lose my income, like my source of income? Like, what if I lose my job? And he was like, I'm not planning on becoming a deadbeat. You will never see me lazy. But if something were to happen, and she says, listen, I love you, and it's not just, you're not just a source of income, but now if the other things stop, then we have a problem. Meaning, like, if you stop loving me, or, then we're going to have a problem. There was, at one point, they showed Leal, and she was like, she didn't say anything, but it was just like an eyebrow raise. She didn't even look at anybody. But it was just an eyebrow raise. And I was like, what does that mean? I'm going to tell you. Her what if seemed valid. His, to me, seemed like he was laying groundwork or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know about this. Okay. So back out at the Hamptons, the ladies go out to dinner. They were on their way to dinner, and they were talking about, like, meet somebody. I guess they were just talking about meeting people. And Kyle was like, you can meet somebody. You can always meeting someone can happen organically. And then she goes on to tell a story about how she was on a plane, and this guy that I guess she was talking to this guy was sitting next to her. When you're sitting next to someone, you just strike up a conversation. And she was talking to this guy, and then he hands her this note. And he wanted her, like, he was like, you can either go home and be with your family, or you can stay with me at an airport shower. What? Rachel's like, listen, that could either be creepy, or if he's hot, that could be fun. No. That could not be fun. That could mean you could end up dead. No. Also, number 2, I didn't know that they had airport showers. I mean, maybe listen. For us poor folk, for us poors, we don't have. The last time I flew, it was commercial. It was not, I wasn't in first class. I was in 17C. I was in 17D, right next to Lisa Barlow. I've never heard anything about airport showers, like an airport shower. But now that I'm thinking about it, maybe like when you're fancy and you fly first class, and you maybe in that luxury suite, maybe they have a shower. Now that I think about it, because when she said an airport shower, I was like, what are you talking about, an airport shower? Huh? No, ma'am, don't ever do that. If anybody that's watching, if anybody says to you, stay with me at the airport shower, don't do it. You don't, even if you know the person, I don't know how sanitary an airport shower is. I've never heard of it. I don't think it's sanitary. Don't do it. Okay, so Rachel comes out and says that today, this exact date, it's been like one year since our breakup, since me and my ex's breakup. Like the triggering event that made her see red, that say, oh, it's done. We're done. It was August 2nd of 2024. So this was filmed August 2nd, 2025. See how I did math a year ahead. So she said the last 2 years were like pure chaos. Like they would separate and then they'd get back together, or fight and then get back together, and fight and then get back together. So he was in Aspen. She was in the Hamptons. Like he wanted her to go to Aspen. She already committed to something in the Hamptons. So she was out, and she was out at an event. She came home and there was a message. Her ex had told her, I guess he didn't say cheated, but after their discussion, after everything else, you realize he cheated. He cheated on her. She was like, I trusted that man completely. I never looked at his phone. I trusted him implicitly. And once that trust is broken, that's just it. You can't go back. I agree. Once somebody cheats on you, that trust is broken. And here's the thing. If you say, oh, that's okay, and you let it go, that to me is like, that's just your way of saying, oh, it's okay. So that's going to be okay for him. That's going to make him think it's okay, and it's not okay. So people, when this had happened, and and here's the thing, he told her, like, they were like, how did you find out? And what he did. And she was like, he told me. And people were saying to her, we think he told you because he wanted to hurt you. She doesn't think that. She thinks partly, like Dorit was like, do you think he did that? He told you because he felt guilty. And at first she shook her head no, but then she said, well, maybe, yes, because he never lied to me. But I think the bigger thing that she thinks that he told her is because he wanted to see if, like, she's still, like, what her reaction would be. Like, does she still give a damn about me? Which is messed up. She says that he was always very secure. Like, he was very secure. It seemed like before she was a big deal. You know, like he had his finance job, and he was making a ton of money, and she was just an up and coming stylist. So he would say, you know what? You got to grow your brand. Go do the traveling, do all of this to get where you want to be. Now listen, in my mind, after I hear that he cheated on her, in my mind, I'm like, wait a minute. Was he cheating the whole time? Was he like, yeah, go ahead. Go out. Do everything you need to do. I'll be right here. Is he doing that because it would make it easy for him to cheat? Because if he's in Beverly Hills, if he's in Los Angeles and she's in New York, I mean, come on. It's just like when Seth Marks takes a job working in Columbus, Ohio, and the rest of the family is in Salt Lake. See what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying that's the first thing that popped into my mind. And then the other part was like, that went back to last week, whenever it was like the discussion of, you know, men are secure until their woman maybe shines brighter than they do. and then they get a little insecure. Could that be the case? Rachel says that she never cheated on him, but there was one time before they got engaged that there was this one model. This one male model. He was so hot. She fooled around with this guy. She told Roger, her ex, and she felt terrible that she did it. And she told Roger, and then the very next day he proposed. Listen, I'm with Kyle. I don't know how that's not that great. That's not a great start to your life together. It's just not. Like, you go out and you cheat and then you get a big ring and a marriage. I don't think that's a great way to start I don't think that's a great foot to start your marriage on, is all I'm saying. But listen, once again, I'm going to say things look really good for Dorit and Kyle. But we all know that that's not going to last. It's probably going to blow up next week because Bose tells Dorit that she talked to Kyle, and Kyle said that she's acting very erratically. So there we go. Listen, let me know in the comments if you watched, what you thought. Also, let's raise our glasses. Mine is empty, but let's raise our glasses to February finally being over. This year has been 872 days long. It is the last day of February. It's been a year. It's been I don't want to say a shitty year, but I'll say it. It's been a shitty year. So here's to tomorrow, the start of hopefully something better. Knock on wood, knock on wood. And as I said that, it probably will go to hell in a handbasket. Okay, so listen, if nobody told you yet today, you're loved, seen, and heard. Please make sure that you put love, kindness, compassion, acceptance, hope, and positivity out there. Please also spread kindness because it is free. Also, please be aware of your surroundings, be smart and safe, and let's hydrate with some water, which I did. And if you're in a dangerous situation, please know that Dolly and I are sending our love, thoughts, prayers, and positive energy your way so you make it through. Love you guys, and I will see you probably tomorrow. All right. Bye, guys.